Welcome, everyone. This is the May version of our Blackbaud Financial Edge NXT webinar, Level Up Services webinar. And we are going to be talking a lot about our Razor's Edge product as well. But mainly, we're going to be discussing today the integration between Razor's Edge and Financial Edge. First, I would love to start off with introductions. Oh, no, just kidding. We changed the order of the slides. I'm going to start with the meeting agenda. We have our introductions first. We have some questions for you, and then we're going to dive right into integration in kind of all areas of that. We're going to do some screen sharing from Razor's Edge as well, and we're going to talk about some reconciliation reports, and then kind of try to hit as many questions as you all submitted in the registration. So first, love to introduce ourselves. Jay, would you like to go first?
Absolutely. Everybody, I'm so happy to be here. I'm Jay Wright. I'm a financial consultant here at Impact. I have 20 years experience around Blackbaud products. So I'm looking forward to talking all things that are REFE integration.
Thank you very much. My name is Kevin Wood. I am the Director of Sales here at Impact. And for our time together today, I will be hosting the webinar. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I spent 15 years in the nonprofit world as a database manager in all Blackbaud shops. So I've been an RE database manager or a consultant for almost 2 decades. And we also have Rupa in the chat as well. She'll be answering questions and kind of keeping an eye on that, and maybe jumping in if we have questions that you all ask that we can kind of answer as we go. So a little bit of housekeeping though for today. We have the chat function available for you to interact with us and ask questions and comments and add comments. We also have the Q&A feature as well. So either place you can find to ask a question or leave a comment, you're encouraged to do so. We'll come up for air every once in a while and answer questions and respond to chat comments. Jay, I have a surprise for you that I did.
Ooh, I love surprises. Please do it.
Since we've worked on this slide deck, one of the things I love about ChatGPT is you can ask it to do things for pictures. So you'll hear an analogy that we have here in a little bit about REFE integration. Has to do with baseball. And so I asked ChatGPT to make Jay and I both apparently kind of older baseball managers. I'm a Reds fan. Jay's a Braves fan. So there you go. Your picture looks more like you. I just have kind of some resemblance to my picture, but that's what AI decided we needed to look like.
That's great.
Okay, so I'm going to launch some poll questions first here just to see it, kind of get a pulse of where we're at with who we have joining us today. So the first one is, what is your primary role at your organization? Yeah, as much as we wear different hats, I'm asking you to categorize yourself into a hat. The options that you'll see pop up on your screen hopefully soon. It is, I have a purple wheel spinning as I'm launching a poll. There we go. Advancement, finance, or other. So Polemists would love to get an idea of who we have with us today. And the results should be popping up as you answer as well. Nice. For those that select other, we'd love to hear in the chat what primary role you have at your organization. Guessing we're going to see mostly finance here, but yeah, about 2/3. Cool. Next one. Are you currently integrating Razor's Edge and Financial Edge? And this will be a 50-50. Yes or no? Nice. Seeing a lot of yeses, but a handful of no's as well. So I'm glad. Hopefully, we'll be able to leave you with some a path towards integration once we get that up and running. And our last poll question is, if you reconcile, how often do you reconcile? I just saw a question in the chat about this is just a native poll feature within Microsoft. So you can add the polls app to, I think, any Microsoft, at least Teams and this webinar as well. So that's how we're just using the native poll feature. So how often do you reconcile between your development office and your finance office? Nice. Majority of the people are doing it monthly. And the folks that select never, I would love to hear the horror stories that you have to share about never reconciling between the two offices. So I am sure you have a few. All right, cool. So we're going to get into it. Thank you so much for answering those questions. We're going to get into it, Jay.
Excellent.
Go for it.
Again, thanks for everybody for joining and taking the time out of your busy schedules to join our webinar today. The best way I can explain REFE integration, getting someone started fresh, or getting someone maybe that's used the integration, but they don't quite know what the relationship between the two databases really means, is a baseball analogy that Kevin alluded to. So what does baseball and REFE integration have in common? Well, the pitcher is Razor's Edge and the catcher is Financial Edge. So just think of it as the pitch between the two systems, and the ball is the gift. Okay. So let's try to bring together these two very different products into one scope so that we can understand what they do. So, Razor's Edge is, of course, an advancement or development product. Financial Edge is, of course, a finance product. And the way that they can join together is using the Razor's Edge fund. Okay. So all gifts have to have a fund defined on them. And if you were to go to your funds in Razor's Edge and go to the GL distribution tab, then you would see by gift type, you're able to select any debit or credit account that you would like to use for the distribution for that particular type of gift, depending on the gift type. Okay. So if you have a cash gift, that has one distribution, one debit, one credit number. If you have a planned gift, that has a completely different debit and credit number, perhaps. So working your way down all of your gift types, you can, during the integration process, you'll get a feel for what gift types are we really using. And Kevin's been great enough to put up a little screenshot of what I just explained on the screen there if you wanted to have an actual peek at, because there's not a real reason to go to the GL distribution tab unless you have something defined there, if you don't have it set up. So if you've never seen this before, this is exactly what it looks like. It's got each one of the gift types defined with a distribution. And if you'll notice, right above the gift type of cash, there's a project number as well. Now that's a project in FE, okay? So the accounts come from FE to link over to Razor's Edge. And also you pick a project to have a one-to-one relationship to your RE fund. So that project in this example, it's 1100, project 1100 has correspondence with this particular fund, the Kevin Wood Family Fund. So that in any time when you're in Financial Edge, after doing a posting, you can look at a transaction, see the project number, and know exactly which RE fund you hit. So it's an easy way to get started with reconciliation. So we'll cover that a little bit later on in the process. But you have a one-to-one relationship between project and FE and fund and RE, and then loading the distributions in the fund and RE comes from FE. You just click on the little binoculars, fill in your account number you're searching for, and it will pop it in that grid that we just viewed. So the REFE integration is really designed to speed up data entry and also eliminate human error. That's a huge thing. If you don't have RE and FE integration set up, then most likely what you do is you export those transactions out of RE and you import them into FE, or you even manually put them into a batch in FE. This takes that out. All that you have to do when you're posting RE to FE is choose the gifts that you want to post them over to Financial Edge, and then Financial Edge gets them in the form of an empty batch, a batch that's not posted. It will show all the transaction activity that there. You can authenticate that. That's a great thing for a controller to have, is I don't want batches coming over automatically posting in my general ledger. You won't have that. It comes over unposted, and then you just go through the posting process and formally post it in FE. So if we can change the slide here.
Yep.
We'll go ahead and jump in.
Real quick, Jay. We had a question in the chat here from Tanya. I have FE and RE integrated in database view now. Is this going to show how to manage GLs and funds in RENXT and how to process the integration in NXT yet? So yeah, currently need to do it in database view. Yeah, so we were actually just chatting about this before we started the call. At some point in the future, the answer is going to be yes. You will do your posting from RE to FE in WebView. And I'll actually pull up our sample. This is our sandbox here. Just so for the folks that don't have the integration turned on and kind of where to go, Jay just alluded to this. So under admin and database view, there's a function here called post to GL. And you may or may not see this depending on what security rights you have. But this is really where we press the button to do the integration or to send that information from RE to FE. Currently, it's only available in database view, or this is where you need to go to do it. On the roadmap from Blackbaud, at some point in the future, this will be a function that's available in WebView, but we don't have any insider information on that timeline. So for now, this is where you need to go to do it.
I think Blackbaud is definitely working very hard to get that fully over in WebView. I know there are some last straggling items in FE and in RE that they're trying to get over moved as fast as possible. So just stay tuned to that in Blackbaud News. If you can look up the What's Happening link on your homepage when you first log into the Razor's Edge or the Financial Edge NXT. The What's Happening is how I get updates as well. So I always point my clients in that direction.
Yeah, and Blackbaud just did the product update briefings last week or maybe the week before for both RE and FE. And so you should be able to have access. I'm not exactly sure where they're at, but you have access to those recordings. Go back and check out those product update briefings because they give you a lot more detail in terms of the timeline and the schedule for these releases that are going to be coming in both products. Just right before we switch to the next slide, one of the things I want to add, and I saw someone that at least a handful of people are from work in advancement services. That, like I said before, has been my career, and I've never taken a finance or an accounting class in my life. So when I was doing database management work in RE, and I would come to this tab of a fund, got super intimidated because I have absolutely no idea about account structures and the chart of accounts of the different organizations that I've worked at. So this was always kind of like an intimidating tab for me because one, I didn't know what needed to go in here and kind of how it all worked. The piece that we kind of want to talk about with the integration is that this is the point at which RE and FE talk to each other. So these accounts that you're going to be putting in here need to come from finance. You're not, as an advancement services person, you're not expected to know or have your chart of accounts memorized. This information is really where was what you get from your finance department, and it provides a good opportunity to begin discussion. If you're not integrated, this is a great piece to start that conversation to say, okay, this is how we're going to get RE and FE to talk to each other. You tell me what I need to put in here because this is important for the general ledger and not so important for Razor's Edge. But this is kind of how we can start those conversations.
That's great, Kevin. And just to add a little bit to that, the integration is a great way to bring together the advancement and the finance office. There's always a gap of communication between those two offices. I've seen it so many times over the years. And by having RE and FE integrated, it really makes you get together with that other team. And as part of the integration process or a project, like say if you were not integrated and you decided to integrate through Impact, we foster that relationship between finance and advancement. We say, the first meeting, in fact, we'd say, we need a representative from advancement that can make decisions as well as finance. And the two minds kind of come together. We explain as consultants how everything works, as I have already. And then we give you guys some tasks to take care of so that we can actually do the work inside the database on the back end and get everything up and running for you.
Yeah, and as we're going to get into reconciliation reports in a second. And as we talk about reconciliation, it makes it very difficult to try to reconcile if you don't have your integration turned on. So the great first step in your path to reconciliation is, or I should say successful reconciliation, is to get your integration turned on. and then we can go right into our reconciliation reports.
Excellent. So reconciling, what do we mean by reconciliation? That's between the RE database and the FE database, of course. And what's the reconciliation? What does that mean even? Well, it's to get an understanding of what has been posted from Razor's Edge to the Financial Edge, and then how it was spent. How it was spent is FE's job, but the movement between the two products to reconcile and make sure that whatever RE is pushing out, FE is receiving, and you can see it on this other end. That's the important part. And usually I have clients, as far as some people say, what are best practices around reconciliation, Jay? I would say at least every month. I have clients that do it on a weekly basis just so they don't fall too far behind if they have a lot of gifts that post from Razor's Edge to Financial Edge. So just a couple of little tips there, and we're going to go through just the view of these three reports that we have pulled up here that you can use for reconciliation. Two of these reports are in Financial Edge. The first two the first two reports are in Razor's Edge, the gift detail summary and the account distribution report. And then the last report, the general ledger report, is in Financial Edge. So these reports are used to do your comparison. So everybody, I think every RE user has used the gift detail and summary report and their time working in Razor's Edge. That is by far, in my experience, the most popular report to go to when you need to see activity and do it quickly. So the detail summary report can give you both the summary and the detail. Or you can pick how you run it, whether it's summary or detail. But the detailed summary report, of course, is going to give you all of that gift detail, showing you what's in the system for your constituents, giving you it basically is the counterpart for the GL report in Financial Edge. So, all the Financial Edge users, they use the GL report to report on transaction activity. Well, in Razor's Edge, you're going to use the gift detail and summary report to report on gift transaction activity before it even moves over to Financial Edge. We'll go ahead and do the next slide. The account distribution report. Now you'll notice this looks a little different. This looks like the old database view, and that's just because this particular report has not been moved over yet. Again, that's something on Blackbaud's horizons to be able to take care of it for you and get that moved over to where you just have one application that you're needing to use. But the account distribution report shows all the distributions that you're using by cash type or by gift type. Remember, on the fund record, on the GL distribution tab, we saw that we have our gift types by account number. So we have our debit and our credit for cash, our debit and credit for plan gift, and so on. It's going to pull those account distributions and show you what you have broken down by gift. So that helps to understand, as far as RE is concerned and how RE is set up, is this report showing that these gifts are going to the correct accounts? And this is a report that finance and advancement can use in conjunction with each other when they're doing the reconciliation between the two systems. And then finally, the GL post report. This is just a standard post report for all my FU people out there. You've seen it a million times. This will show you when you go in and you see a batch that's open from Razor's Edge. It's ready to post, like I mentioned before. You go through the posting process, you'll generate this report and save it for your reconciliation when you actually do it. Anytime that you run any post from Razor's Edge, I would highly recommend you either print or, better yet, save as a PDF and use that for your reconciliation at the end of the week or the end of the month, or even more time, depending on what your policies are. But this report's just for my advancement folks out there. This report shows what actively posted during a posting process in Financial Edge. So you send the batch over, they post it, then this report gets generated, and then this can be used in conjunction with the other reports to really tidy up and make sure everything is moving from one system to another.
Yeah, one of the things I want to point out here, for if we only have some RE only people in the house today, we have a batch number up here. And for this, if we're doing our gift entry through batch, which I would suggest that we do, this number does not correspond with the RE batch that you may be posting, or the batch of gifts that you may be posting. This batch number is what the batch number will be or is on the general ledger. So if you have to kind of communicate with your finance people about specific gifts that were posted from RE to FE, this is a really good way to tell them what batch you're talking about, because on the general ledger, we have all different kinds of batches from all different kinds of places. And we can tell them kind of specifically, hey, I'm talking about batch 485 here. And they can go to the GL and see that, look up batch 485. The other thing I wanted to mention is, and I'm going to show you where those reports are so we can look at them. But the other thing I wanted to mention about these reports, and usually in Razor's Edge, when we run any kind of, we're not talking about finance now, we're talking about just Razor's Edge reports. Usually when we run reports, especially on giving, we always are looking at the gift date. So we kind of care about when the gift was recorded, or when the donor could get on a receipt of when the gift came in. But for these reports, we're going to run off of GL post date. So we can think about this from a RE perspective or a gift entry perspective of when was the money deposited into the bank. That's the date that really we care about on the GL, or that information that gets passed over. So when we run a post from RE to FE, the date that gets sent over is the GL post date on the gift, and it's not the gift date. So I think it's a really good distinction to know that we have two different dates on a gift record. I think we have two different dates on a gift record. This is the date that the gift was received by the organization, the date that will be on the receipt that gets sent to the donor. But then we also have a GL post date, and this is that information that gets sent over to the GL through that post process. So when we are running our reports, always make sure that we're looking at running our report off a GL post date and not off the gift date, because oftentimes those crossover fiscal periods, months, or even fiscal years, depending on when the gift was received versus when the bank received it. Did I say that right, Jay?
I think you did. Absolutely.
All right, good.
Yeah. that and the gift, a lot of databases, I think out of the box even, are set up to use the same gift date as the GL post date. So that once you pop in the date, it'll populate the GL post date too. So keeping those the same is probably a good idea. There are certain situations where you might have to have different dates, but just be aware of that in those reconciliation moments.
A great example I always use there is for if you do your BBMS disbursements weekly instead of daily. Very often, any gift given in the last week of the month, or even the last week of a year or fiscal period, if the gift date is going to be June 28th, but it's not going to get deposited until July. So that's a good example of when those dates are going to be different. Now I'm going to jump over to our sandbox here and just kind of show you. We talked about this gift detail. I just want to show you where it is, because this functionality, the standard reports, kind of was released in waves to different organizations. I think it's now finally available for everyone as of about a month or two ago. Everyone has access to standard reports now in WebView. So I just want to show you where that is, because a lot of this navigation also got recently changed for whatever reason. So under analysis on the left-hand side, we have our standard reports. And as you can see, this mirrors a lot of what was available in database view as well, but not all of the reports are available. So they're, again, bringing them over in waves. But what's nice about this, as they're bringing them over, also all the saved reports that you had in database view are also available in WebView now as well. So under standard reports, financial reports, we have the gift detail and summary. And here's the one I have that I was using the example. So yeah, I just wanted to point out date to use. We have GL post date instead of gift date. And then also make sure we're including deceased people in our report, because there are certain situations where someone gives a gift and then passes away, and so we want to make sure that gets included. That's a way of a way that could throw off our reconciliation. This is called a gift detail and summary report, so you can pick detail or summary. And for this sake, we're going to summarize on fund in Razor's Edge. So when we select fund here, we can go over to details, and in the details, this is where we tell Razor's Edge which summary we want to do. So you have the ability to summarize on some other things as well, but for this discussion, we're going to summarize on fund. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much everything else is pretty much the same as it was in database view. The only difference is that when we run this, it doesn't just pop up when we choose a PDF and we go to run it. It'll kind of be running in the background, which I guess is nice because you can go about your day, and then you'll see an alert pop up. For me, it takes about 30 seconds or a minute. You'll see an alert pop up, and you can go up here and download the report. I didn't have any results because I did a date where we don't have any gifts. But yeah, so that's in WebView, and then in the account distribution report, we're back in database view. We go to reports and finance, and there's our account distribution report. Same thing. Make sure we pick GL post date and then our fiscal period.
Excellent.
Yeah. I will, depending on our time, I might jump back in here and we're going to talk about some gift entry best practices if we have time. But I want to make sure we jump back to here because we have some rapid fire questions that we kind of pulled from the registration that you all asked. We tried to categorize questions as much as possible, or like kind of maybe combine questions if they were similar in nature. But yeah, we'll start with these three and then we'll see where we go. Jay, so is there a perfect time to implement the REFE integration?
Anytime is a good time to get the integration started. Now, if you're in an audit or if it's year end, then I would weigh your workload because there's going to be some tasks that have to be performed on your end as the client to give me the information that I would need to be able to set up the integration. So other than that, anytime. I've got clients that even do it around year end and during audit. But it's just a little, they have the extra work there. So anytime's a good time. Just let us know if we can help you with that process. The second question is the auto load of journal entries still available in RENXT and FENXT? There's not a like an automatic load where the system will just do it automatically. You can export out of Razor's Edge and then import into Financial Edge using one of two methods. You can use the Journal Entry Batch Creator Excel add-in. I'll say that again. The Journal Entry Batch Creator Excel add-in, which is just an add-in that helps you through Excel dump the data into an Excel format. It reformats it to fit Financial Edge, and then you can use that. Or now you can import like you normally would have in database view and NXT. So walking through that process, it's almost identical to the old process of importing in database view versus NXT. A great solution for importing is a solution number 205765. If you ever need that, that's a great knowledge-based solution on Blackbaud's site. And then finally,
I'm going to put it in the chat. What is it?
Sure thing. 205765.
You've been working as a consultant for a long time when you have knowledge-based articles memorized.
That's
nice job.
And then finally, we're having issues altering or deleting GIFs in RE. Is an adjustment sent over to FE, and I believe there was another add-on to that question of the reversals are deletions, deleted GIFs, and the adjustments are not being posted over to Financial Edge. That's a great question. See, so under RE, under database view, if you Kevin, if you can navigate as I walk through this, that'd be great. Yep. Navigate to admin, and then post to the general.
Let's make the adjustment first.
Okay.
Yeah. So on the gift record, and so kind of something to think about as we're looking at a gift in Razor's Edge on whether or not we want to adjust it or not. If you see this information is grayed out on a gift record, I can't change any of this stuff. That's because the gift has been posted. So RE has a nice little backup for us so that we aren't able to easily change gift information once it's been sent over. So if that's the case, we have to make an adjustment. And so you go to the gift drop down, hit adjust, and now we're able to change just this information here, adjustment amount and fund. And then we can also change campaign, fund, and appeal on the split gift as well. But this is where you set up the adjustment first. And then, as Jay was alluding to, we're going to go, and I didn't make the adjustment, but then we go back here and go ahead, Jay.
Go to admin, post to the general ledger, and then go to the gifts tab of the posting parameter. You can choose to include Adjustments and reversals only if this was an adjustment to an already posted gift. See there, you can choose all selected gifts, meaning pop in a query in there of maybe query by batch number of a few batches that you just did in Razor's Edge. That will pull those together. Or adjustments and reversals. And you may ask, well, why the adjustments and reversals don't just post with the regular transactions? Well, that was done intentionally to kind of segregate those types of transactions so that during reconciliation, those can be taken in consideration if it's outside of the reconciliation date that was done. So that gives finance a better understanding of what's in there, what's posted, what needs to be posted, and what shouldn't be posted. So from that point, a posted gift that's deleted will produce a reversal automatically, okay? And then you just need to post that in config here. A gift that is not posted doesn't need an adjustment at all and will not reverse if it wasn't posted to begin with. So if you have a gift that's not posted, you realize there's something wrong, you delete it, you expect a reversal? Nope. If it's not posted to begin with, it's not going to reverse itself. So it will just be deleted, and then you just need to re-enter the gift.
Yeah, and that's where I was heading towards before when I said when the information's grayed out, that means you can't touch it. But if it's not grayed out, that means it hasn't been posted yet, and so you can go ahead and just make the changes directly on the gift. And usually we do this for fat finger errors, not necessarily like a donor changes their mind or that sort of thing. We want to have that audit trail available for us if that's the case. But if it's just I typed in 50,000 and it was supposed to be 500,000 before the gift is posted, just go ahead and come in here and change it. Also, make sure you update your solicitor soft credit amounts and your solicitor amounts and everything else associated with that. But we can just go ahead and change the amount or the campaign of the fund or whatever else before it gets posted.
Excellent.
Let's see, how are we doing on time? Oh, perfect. So we have about 10 minutes left. One of the things, let me jump back to our questions here. I wanted to add to this first one here. This is, again, I'll kind of harp back to a comment I made earlier about the knocking down the silos between advancement and finance. This is a really good opportunity to have those conversations. This isn't a decision that should be made unilaterally. This really needs to either be made from the top down or as a collaboration between advancement and finance, because it really does involve everyone, because you're going to add potentially extra work for someone in advancement to do that posting, or even someone on a finance team that will need to go into Razor's Edge now and start pressing the button and bringing the gifts over. So this is a great opportunity to open the dialogue with everyone. I'll also, and I think I say this every single month with whatever we're talking about, document this procedure as well. Make sure this is a breathing document that we look at once a year to make sure the process we have documented reflects what we're actually doing. Also, maybe a good idea to run that document past your auditor as well, if they might have some say so in that discussion, where we're talking about handling gifts differently. Anything else to add to that, Jay?
I think you covered it. That's excellent.
Yeah. Nice. All right, so we have about 5 minutes. I'm going to jump back into Razor's Edge, because I'll as quickly as I can, I'll go through kind of the gift entry, like how I do training for gift entry, because I think this is really important for the end result of not only the posting from RE to FE, but then also the reconciliation. So I mentioned before about gift entry through batch, this is a really fast and efficient way of getting information into Razor's Edge for gift information in. But one of the things it also allows us to do is to kind of the mindset of having a batch equal a deposit into the bank. And so starting that process from the beginning, I open all the mail today, I have a stack of checks that I need to get entered. I'm going to enter them into Razor's Edge. I'm going to give them to Jay. He's going to deposit those checks into the bank. And so with that piece in the middle there is getting the gifts entered into their own batch. And we're not going to go through all this, but one of the things I wanted to point out that we can do is create a gift query of the committed gifts. So what we're doing is when we commit a batch, we're going to create all those gifts and we're going to put them into a query. And you'll see here, I've got this batch number is random batches, batch number 38. So when I go to commit the batch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this query 38, and I'm going to put it into my batch folder of query. So when I do that, a query will get created of all those gifts, and then we go through, and then when at the end of the day we're ready to post from RE to FE, instead of just posting all the gifts available to us that are available in RE to post, what we're going to do is we're going to tell Razor's Edge, I just want to send that query of gifts over. And so what happens is we have the stack of checks that we've entered today that need to be deposited into the bank. We're going to enter them into RE. We're going to save the query. We're going to post that query from RE to FE. And now we have a journal entry in Financial Edge that should total up the stack of checks I have in my hand that Jay is going to deposit into the bank. So we have a way of tying everything back to the original source of documentation and the check scans and the letters that came in with the checks. Everything can kind of follow the path. So come September, when the auditor says, hey, I need the documentation from this check, this big check or this big pledge commitment we have, we're able to kind of tie back all the way to Razor's Edge to the source. Because we treat RE like a subledger, we can go back and find that particular gift and that particular batch scan and get that documentation very quickly. So as we're, again, having a shared document or a shared process with advancement and finance, we can really kind of tie the process together to help us kind of all the way across the board, but especially with the audit. And that was gift entry in 5 minutes. Okay. Jay, do you have anything else to add to the conversation before we wrap up here?
I think that covers everything, all the high level topics. Just let us know if we can be of any assistance with this process. Glad to help.
Yeah, absolutely. So real quick before we end up, I always like to talk about what's coming down the pike for us in terms of our events. We usually do on a typical month, we have the fourth Wednesday of the month is our Razor's Edge Ask Us Anything. On the third Wednesday of the month, which is today, we have our Financial Edge Ask Us Anything. So next week for your RE folks, or if you want to share the link with people that are using Razor's Edge, we have our just kind of a general Ask Us Anything. So we're going to take questions during registration and kind of rapid fire through as many as we can. We have some other events here listed as well. Our next Financial Edge one is June 18th. And this QR code and this link take you to the events page on our website where you get all the registration information and kind of see what's coming up later in the year as well. So myself, Jay, and Rupa, we're all consultants here at NPACT, and we have a big team of RE consultants and a big team of Financial Edge consultants. Here are the ways that we help our clients as best as we can categorize them. So we do database assessments on both products. We do a lot of training, both virtual and in person, by product as well. And then we just kind of do general consulting hours where you can use that time however you want, as quickly or as slowly as you want. You can schedule time with your consultant if you have specific product questions, or if you have data projects that you don't want to do or you don't have time to do, you can pass that off to your consultant and have them do it for you. So I have one last poll question, actually. And as long as my polls load back up, if you're ready to, there we go. If you're ready to work with us, that'll pop up on your screen here in a question, or in a minute. If you're ready to schedule a call today, and you answer that way, I will be reaching out to you by the end of the week or early next week, but also some other options as well. I saw, as we were getting started, I saw a lot of our current clients on the call already today. So we appreciate your business, and we are glad that you're here with us today. But if you're ready, I will absolutely reach out to you, and we can kind of talk how our amazing consultants can come in and help you with your products. And my information is here. I will send out the recording that we went through today. I'll send that out by the end of the week, along with the slide deck. If there are any particular topics that you'd love to have us cover, please let me know. We want to make sure these webinars are informational for you all. So I'm happy to tailor the topics that we talk about to what you all need. So be sure to let me know if you have any comments in that regard. And that's it. Jay, thank you very much. Rupa, thank you very much for manning the chat. And thank you all for joining us. We will see you again next month.